Hello everybody, welcome to ASL Basics. Today we will be interviewing Konae Williams. She's a sign language interpreter here in California, and we will be talking to her about what kind of advice she has to those that are just learning the language for the first time, or perhaps those that may want to be interpreters in the future. So be sure to stick around to the end for her own personal advice for those that may be struggling with learning the language. Before we get started, if you've been finding these videos helpful, please like and subscribe, and you can ring the bell notification to be up to date to all the latest videos. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get on with the interview. Good morning, Konae. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So how long have you been learning sign language?
Around 7 years.
7 years?
7 years.
That is awesome. And how long have you been interpreting?
I've been interpreting for 4 years total.
Wow, that's awesome. I do have a few questions for you. So my first question for you is, what originally got you interested in learning sign language?
I think I would like to begin. It started when I was in speech therapy, and on the wall, I would see like a poster, and it would have all the finger spelling. It have A, B, C. And I remember as a little girl, I would practice underneath the table, A, B, C, D, E. So I think it started from that.
Wow, that's really cool. What about learning sign language for you was the most challenging?
For me, I picked up the signs really good, but it's just communicating because I was really shy. I was like, oh man, I'm not a coda. What do I do? But just it was easy. It was just like getting to know my friends and socializing, I think, maybe.
So did you find socializing helped you overcome your shyness?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It did.
Yeah, I know for myself, I tend to be more introverted, so for me to learn a different language, to put myself out there, and you can feel vulnerable sometimes, but really that's the best way to learn, huh?
Yes, and people are so nice.
People can surprise you.
Yes.
They're more patient than you give them credit for.
Yes.
How did you become an interpreter, or what inspired you to become an interpreter?
Funny story. I wanted to become an interpreter, but I never really thought I would actually succeed as becoming an interpreter. It was my friend. She actually called the office and she offered my name, and they called me, and I was like nervous. I'm like, really? Is this happening? Me? Interpreter? Okay. And I went to do the interview, and I did like practice a book for ASL because I wanted to work with kids and they need to see my skills, and that's how it started.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And how have things been since then? Have you felt like it's been getting easier over the years?
Yes. I mean, the language, it changes, but that's really the fun. I love to see the different changes in the language. I love to see how one person have one sign for one word in English, and it's like, whoa, I accept that, I accept that, I accept that. So you're always like learning, your brain's always growing and stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool. It is a really, it's a fast evolving language, and it's very regionalized too.
Yeah.
I know for myself, when I moved from Southern California to Central California, a lot of signs were different. They sign pizza different, they sign computer different, and it's a bit of a learning curve if you move from one spot to the next, or just if you're communicating with people from around the country, to learn all the different variations of signs. How would you explain the difference between knowing sign language to being able to interpret sign language? Is there a difference?
Yes. Okay, learning sign language, you have your own personality. I don't think you believe that you have that, but yeah, your personality is included also. When you become an interpreter, you're becoming other people. You always need to match the facial expressions, the language, make sure you get that message always, like make sure you're on point with that. And it's just that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that was something that I struggled with when I first started interpreting. I remember one of the first classes I interpreted was a photography class in college. And the professor was angry and irate with the students, and I was sitting there interpreting with a smile. And so the interpreter I was working with was my mentor. He's like, hey, you need to match his facial expressions. If he's angry, you need to be angry. And that does get easier over time, not only matching their emotions, but their prosody and just the way that they're communicating and the way that they're presenting their words. It's more than just interpreting the words, it's interpreting the message.
Yeah.
So do you enjoy being an interpreter?
I love it. You get to meet so many different people, different students. They all have their different personalities. They're so funny, and it makes your day. Like if you're having a struggle, like one day at home, you arrive to work and it's just like their smiles, amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely have fallen in love with interpreting. In the beginning, there was a lot of nervousness, there was a lot of uncertainty, but over the years, just learning the language and becoming comfortable with the interpreting process, then you get to interact with the kids and adults and just this wide a range of people, and to get to know other interpreters, it really has become a really fulfilling and satisfying job for myself too.
Yeah, and I also think maybe because I'm always like encouraging myself, because I'm shy. You see me and I'm like quiet. I'm not mean, I'm just shy really. But then like in interpreting, your job is to work. Your job is to support. Your job is not about shy me, it's about them, the two people, the hearing and the deaf.
Absolutely. And I know you're pretty busy, you're interpreting and you're also going to college full time. You want to talk to us a little bit about that?
It's important no matter what happens to take rest. Like all my Saturdays are rest days because work, school becomes overwhelming. So Saturdays I'm resting. It's important, and always talking and just trying to live life, enjoy no matter what happens, and like doing my best, no matter if it's church, if it's working, if it's school, just always encouraging myself to succeed, doing whatever I can.
Yeah, definitely there's balance to be found, and sometimes it can be tricky to find that balance, but I think over time that you found it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that too. I'm also working full time. I'm also going to college full time. I have a new daughter that's 1.5 years that keeps my life very busy.
Ooh, that's busy.
But definitely learning a new language can fit into busy lifestyles.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say don't learn sign language because you're too busy for it.
No.
Because you could make the time, and it could lead to very satisfying outcomes.
Yeah.
Hence like finding a job in educational interpreting, or just being able to be an inspiration to others, or to encourage children. It's a really satisfying job.
Yes.
So what kind of goals do you have for the future?
I want to become a math teacher, but also I'm not quitting interpreting. I will continue to interpret. I want to sign music one day, maybe at my church, but that's my goal. Just because I'm becoming a teacher, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to learn. I'm going to continue to be involved. I'm not going to quit. I love sign language. I love deaf culture. I love it.
That's awesome. So would you have any final advice for those that are just beginning to learn sign language, or perhaps those that have been learning for a while and are finding it difficult or are struggling with it?
I say never give up. Just keep going. And also struggling, you can always learn. Struggling is not failure. It's not the same. Struggling is like succeeding. Struggle first, and you learn how can I make it different, like how. So never give up. Always try to make it fun. Enjoy it.
I think that's probably the best advice I could give too. Just try to learn to enjoy the process, and going out and meeting new people, using what you've learned so far with others can really help make that process easier, and actually can go a lot faster for those that are just beginning. Great advice. I really appreciate you meeting with me today and to give your experiences and your advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope this was encouraging for all of you today to be able to hear Konae's advice. And for those that are learning the language, I know it can be difficult and it can be hard, but truly it is worth the effort. And let me know in the comments what advice that you found Konae's to be the most helpful for you. If you're new to the channel, you can catch up with all my previous videos with the card up above or in the links in the description below. And if you're eager to learn more ASL, you can find me on Instagram at ASL Basics. And remember, the best way to learn a language is to actually use it. So please feel free to share these videos with someone that you know so you can get some practice in and continue to learn the language. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, I'll see you later.